بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome to another session of Quran analysis. We've been doing Surah Al-Mulk, and um, so far we had done the last week we did the explanation of ayah number 13 to 15. And so as you know how we normally progress, we do the Nahw and then we do the explanation and then the Nahw and explanation like that until we finish the entire surah. So today we'll be continuing with our Nahw session. We were left off with actually the Sarf of a number of words from this section of ayah number 13 to 15 before we proceed to the Nahw section. So we'll just go over quickly through the Sarf of this, and then we can proceed with the Nahw inshallah, so that we can finish that Nahw section as well. And again, if anybody wants to participate, feel free. Let me know and we can give you a chance here. But meanwhile, I'm just going to start. So we have the first word, وَأَسِرُّوا قَوْلَكُمْ أَوْ اجْهَرُوا بِهِ. وَأَسِرُّوا, and we talked about this. So to make something secret, yeah, to keep private, that is asarra. And this comes from the word sir. For those of you who are in my region, you know the word siri, which means secret. Same kind of word. Probably might be the same also in Urdu, I don't know, because we borrow a lot of words from the Arabic language. So this is Sin Ra Ra. And the bab is bab number 4, Aslama Yuslimu Islam. And this asirru, this is Madi. So we're going to do the Sarf Saghir. So do it with me. Asarra Yusirru. Israr, like Islam. Israr, for those of you who are in Pakistan, you're very familiar with Dr. Israr. Amazing scholar, mashallah. So Israr, فهو مسر, right? So you can continue with the Sarf Saghir if you want, but we are more interested with the Amr. Oh, Asirru. I said Madi. This is Amr. Forgive me, guys. Asirru Antum. Amr. So, of course, if you do this Sarf Saghir all the way, then you will have Asirru, which Asirra, and Asrir. Those are the command versions of it. Remember, this type of irregularity is called muda'af. So when you reach the Amr, you kind of break. You break the ra. So you don't have either it's asirra or it's asrir. So you'll have either one of this. And then of course, if you take asirra, huwa asirra, huma asirra, hum asirru. And that's the one we are looking for, right? And what does it mean? It means y'all make private or secret. Yeah. And then we continue with awijharu, jahara. So we have jahara. And this is family number 1, jahara, yajharu. And again, obviously, it's an amr that is connected with, sorry, where's the ra? That is connected with asirru. So asirru, awijharu. Both of them are amr, antum version. So jahara, يجهر جهر فهو جاهر. And of course, if you do that all the way to Amr, you will have ijhar. Because remember, when you're doing the Amr version, you take the mudara, you get rid of the ya, and you ask yourself, can I pronounce this? If you cannot pronounce it, then you add a hamza with a kasra on it. Yeah? And if it has a dhamma, it's, for example, yansuru. Yansuru, it has a dhamma. Yansu. So if it has a dhamma, then we will say unsur. So we'll put also a dhamma. But when you have a fatha or a kasra, then the kasra comes in. So ijhar. Ijhar. No. Ijhar. So anta ijhar. أنتما اجهرا. أنتم اجهروا. That's where we get it from. And what does this mean? Make public. So y'all make public or publicize, right? Or make it open, say it openly. All those are the meanings of that. Then we have alim. So alim comes from ain, lam, mim. Very straightforward. And alima ya'lamu. So this is sami'a yasma'u. This is one of those common words that you just must know because it appears in the Quran a lot, right? And of course, we are students, so نتعلم نحن متعلمون. So we are students. It comes from the same word, so it's important to know this word. So alim is actually مبالغة. I'm just going to plug in my computer. Give me a second there. Yeah. مبالغة. And I will explain this because you're probably wondering, wait, isn't this fa'il, the pattern fa'il? Because when we were studying in Bayina, we were very young in our Arabic studies, so we learned, when you're a baby, you're given soft foods. And then as you grow up, you start to eat hard foods, and then you start to see reality in different lights. So I would consider, our studies in Baina as, that stage that introduces you to Arabic. So you're eating soft food. You're being given just enough that you can consume. And then afterwards, after you grow older, then you can consume more, then now you can understand a little bit more. So when we were in Bayina, we were told fa'il, sifa. Every time you see fa'il, Kareem, Kabir, Latif, all these names, you go to sifa. That was the soft food understanding, if you will. But now that we've grown bigger and we can understand a little bit more, then we understand that actually some of these words in this pattern fa'il can be mubalagha. It's not all of them that they're sifa, some of them are mubalagha. How do we understand the difference between the two? I think I have mentioned this before. You ask yourself, is the verb mutaaddi or lazim? If the verb is mutaaddi, mutaaddi will give you mubalagha. Mutaaddi, mubalagha. If it's lazim, it gives you sifa. So that's the formula. Mutaaddi equals mubalagha. Lazim equals sifa. So now how do I know that alima is mutaaddi? I ask myself, alima who? Does it take a maf'ul bihi? Yes, it does. He taught him. He taught English. He taught Arabic. So it takes on a maf'ul bihi. Because it takes on a maf'ul bihi, then it's mutaaddi. Because it's mutaaddi, a word in this pattern is going to be mubalagha. That's the short of it, right? So we have علم يعلم علما فهو عالم, right? So now you can see the difference. Alim is a person who knows. Alim is a person who knows. But Alim, this is somebody who constantly knows. Is a permanent trait. It's not a permanent trait. This is a person who knows a lot. It's not just alim. It's not just a knower. No, this is a person who knows extremely well, knows a lot of information. So that's why it's mubalagha. I hope you can see the difference there. Okay. So obviously, if you do the entire sarf, at some point you'll come to mubalagha, which is what we're looking for, alim. And like we've said, that means is extremely knowing or extremely knowledgeable. I don't know how to spell this. Knowledgeable, like that, I think. Yes. All right. By the way, if you have any questions, feel free to interject. Then we have خلق. خلق يخلق. So خلق. And this is نصر ينصر. خلق يخلق. And this is just ماضي. Nothing there. So we have خلق. خلق يخلق خلق فهو خالق. Like Allah is al-Khaliq, the creator, right? And of course this is the ماضي, so خلق. The صرف كبير will be خلقهما, خلقاهم, خلقوا. What does that mean? He means he created. Created. Then we have اللطيف. Again, you see the same pattern فعيل. So we have to ask ourselves the same process. So this is لا طا ف. And this is it could be نصر لطف يلطف, or لطف also سمع, I think. Let me just confirm there. Yeah, نصر أو كرمة, sorry. نصر أو كرمة. So this could be نصر أو كرمة. We'll just go with نصر. And you can already tell that this is لازم, because كرمة family is always لازم, right? So if it's نصر أو كرمة, this is a لازم فعل, right? And also just when you listen to the translation, to be gentle, to be subtle, that's something that is happening to you. It's not happening to something else or someone else. So it doesn't take a مفعول به. So this is going to be لازم. And we've said if this pattern فعيل is متعدي, it gives you مبالغة. مو. If it is لازم, it gives you صفة. So we already know that this is going to be صفة because it is لازم. Too many faz. There. So this is going to be لطف يلطف لطف فهو, well, because now it's كرمة, we're just going to say لطيف. Or if it's نصر, لطيف is not really used. So you have لطيف, this is going to be the صفة. And what does it mean? It means the subtle or gentle. These are some of the meanings of al-latif. And we already said that if it comes with al-khabir, al-latif al-khabir, then most likely the meaning is subtle. All right. Al-khabir. Now here you're going to see again the difference. So khabara, and khabara is khabira yakhbaru. So this is sami'a yasma'u. Sami'a yasma'u. Khabira, to tell someone, to tell something. Already you can see it takes on a maf'ul bihi. You tell, you inform someone, you inform something, right? So this one is not going to be sifa, because again it's muta'addi, so it's going to be mubalagha. So now the meaning is extremely informed, extremely well aware. That's the meaning. So khabira, يخبر, خبر, فهو خابر. And then, of course, you go all the way to mubalagha. At some point, you will come across khabir. And again, what does it mean? It means the extremely informed, or more likely you would see in the translation, the all aware. Yeah, al-khabir, the all aware, because it has that extreme form of it. Now we have the lul. Now this is going to be an interesting one. Okay, so this one comes from dhalla يذل. ذل يذل. So ذا لا لا. ذا لا لا. And this is family one, ضرب يضرب. And this one, the lul, this word is actually a sifa. Now, the sifa that we're familiar with is on the pattern fa'il. That's the sifa that we're familiar with, fa'il. But there are other patterns that also signify sifa. It's not just fa'il. I mean, this one is the common one. For example, if I say طويل, tall, قصير, short, كبير, big, صغير, small. So you see this pattern is the common one. But you have other sifas. Like for example, عطشان. This is Rahman, Fa'lan, this type of pattern, Adshan, what other words? Why am I forget? Jawan, yeah? So to be hungry, to be thirsty, these are adjectives. These are sifas, right? You have also this pattern fa'ul. Fa'ul is also a sifa type of pattern. So dhalul, for example, what we're dealing with here. So this is another pattern that also signifies a sifa. So this is, if we're doing the sarf saghir, dhalla, like we said, yadhillu, dhal. I'm assuming that's the masdar. I need to confirm the masdar. Because the masdar for family one, normally you just have to confirm. Dhal, yeah, I was right. So dhal, not there. So the masdar is dhal, and then the isim fa'il is dhalun. Dhalun. Yeah, dhalun. And then, of course, if you're to do all the way, you will come to dhalul, which is the sifa that we are looking for. And that, what does it mean? It actually means to be tamed or to be humbled. It is actually used for an animal that was once wild, and then the human beings brought it like a wild horse, and then it was tamed. That's what the lul means. Yeah, tamed. Famshu, imshu. So what do we have here? We have ma, sha, ya. And this is masha yamshi, daraba, yadribu. Again, famshu, imshu. This is fi'al amr, antum imshu. So masha, masha, يمشي مشي or مشيا فهو ماش, the person who walks. Again, remember this is ناقص, like هاد, داع. So this is ناقص, so it's going to be ماش. And then if you're to do that, امشوا لا تمشوا, sorry, امشي, أنت امشي, أنتما امشيا, أنتم امشوا. So this is how it's going to be. So you have امشي as, what's happening? Imshi as anta, the Amr version of anta version of, what am I saying? The the command version of anta. So you have imshi, and then you have the ya comes back normally in the muthanna, in the dual version. But then in the Amr, you cannot say imshiyu. Remember that sound? Imshiyu, no. Imshu, make it smooth, right? So we don't want you, we want ooh, the smooth version of it. Imshu, and that's what we're dealing with here. Antum imshu. So what does it mean? Y'all walk. Yani walk. So you'll walk and you'll walk. Finally, we have wakulu. So what do we have? La. What kind of irregularity is this? Mahmuz alfa. The hamza comes in the beginning. This is what we're dealing with. All right. Akala ya'kulu. So nasara yansuru. And again, this one is also a fi'al amr, and that's why you're not seeing the hamza. The hamza disappeared because this is what happens in mahmuz al-fa. In the command version, it's not, we don't say, the hamza disappears. It's not wa'kulu. No, it's wakulu, right? Because remember, if you can say it, then you don't need the alif in the beginning. Okay, so this is akala ya'kulu, akl, فهو آكل, فهو آكل. والأمر منه كل, الأمر منه كل, أنت كل. والنهي عنه لا تأكل. The hamza comes back in the forbidding. So what we have here is كل. Because remember, if you remove the ya here in the beginning and you're trying to construct the amr, what will you have? You put a sukun on the hamza and you can't pronounce this kul. You're gonna kill yourself trying to pronounce this. So what happens? You just get rid of the hamza altogether and be like, I don't need this stress on my throat. Get rid of it, and you remain with kul. So this is the amr, right? And of course, anta kul, antuma kula, antum kulu. And there it is. Kulu, which means y'all eat. Y'all eat. Are we good? Any questions so far? That's as far as the sarf that was remaining is concerned. I hope that's okay and clear. That's something you can just do with practice. And the reason why we do this is so that, we don't forget whatever we learned in Baina, right? Now let's look at the Sarf, the Nahw of ayah number 16 to ayah number 18. Hopefully we get to ayah number 18, inshallah. We still have some time, so we'll make it. Okay. أأمنتم أأمنتم من في السماء أن يخسف بكم الأرض فإذا هي تمور. Now this ayah is packed with a lot of grammatical nuances, so bear with me. Pack up your ears and gear yourself ready to listen because we have a lot to unpack here. So first of all, you have the first Hamza. Actually, you have two Hamzas here. So we need to figure out what's happening. The first Hamza, this Hamza, is actually Hamzatul Istifham, the Hamza of question. Just like how did, yeah? Yes, exactly, question. So this is Hamzatul Istifham. A'amintum. So we figured out this first harf. So we go to amintum. Amina. This is a verb. Amina, ya'manu, right? So amintum antum. This is the madi. Amintum. So we have we have the hamzatul istifham because of space. I'm not going to write it. But then we come to this is the madi. Let me change the color so that it is visible. So we have the madi here. And it's antum version. Antum. You can already see the tum at the end. Mintum. So madi antum. Now, this word amintum or amina can be lazim, it can be mutaaddi. But in this case, it is actually mutaaddi. So we'll take the mutaaddi meaning. What does that mean? It means it takes on a maf'ul bihi. But before I tell you that, I'm going to tell you what it means. Amina is to not feel afraid of something, is to feel safe around something. So not be afraid around something or of something, to feel safe around something or someone. So when you're feeling safe and you're relaxed around someone or something, that's Amina. You're actually Amin, right? Because you're feeling
peace
safe.
with something.
Yeah?
You're at peace with something.
Peace. Yeah, that's why also the word for, like it has that connotation of peace as well, right? Amn. Amn is safety, security, to be at peace. Yeah. So that's Amina. So the question is then Allah is asking, Amintum, do you feel safe around who? That's the question. Do you feel safe around man fi sama? Do you feel safe around the one in the skies? Do you feel safe around the one who, do you feel safe around Allah? Sorry. Do you feel safe around Allah? Do you feel safe? Or do you feel you're no longer afraid of Allah? Is that the case? أَأَمِنْتُم مَّن فِي السَّمَاءِ. So what do we realize about this man? This man is actually the maf'ul bihi. Who are you not afraid of? Who are you feeling safe around? So it answers the question who. So this man is ism mawsul, but is the maf'ul bihi. Okay? So this is a maf'ul bihi. The ism mawsul, maf'ul bihi. And of course, في السماء, this would be متعلق جار مجرور متعلق to the صلة الموصول. Now, I want to explain something here. So normally, we have an اسم موصول, either من or الذي. And then what follows the اسم موصول? صلة الموصول. But what makes a صلة الموصول? What makes a صلة الموصول is normally a sentence. It has to be a sentence. either a جملة فعلية or a جملة اسمية. Most likely is a جملة فعلية. Most likely. Most likely you will see a جملة فعلية. But sometimes you can just see here a jar majroor. So how do we do the i'rab of this jar majroor? We're going to assume that there's a sentence here is missing. So there's the sila Like for example, it could be من هو في السماء. Now, when you say من هو في السماء here, what have I done? I have created a sentence. I've created a جملة اسمية. هو في السماء. He is in the sky. So now this هو that is not there is actually my silatul mawsul. This is the silatul mawsul. So this في السماء is jar majroor متعلق to this هو that is محذوف. Is that clear? Do you understand what's happening in this ayah? So the silatul mawsul, because it's understood. If I say man huwa fi sama and I say man fi sama, it's the same thing. Man huwa fi sama, the one who he is in the sky. It's the same as saying the one who is in the sky. Do you see? So normally we don't repeat the huwa because it's understood. So that this huwa is the silatul mawsul, and fi sama would be jar majroor متعلقان to the silatul mawsul. متعلقان بصلة.
After Ilham, only can one word can also be a silatul mawsul?
Yes. So let me explain that. In Arabic, you do the i'rab of every single. You look at one word separately. Every word has. I know in Baina we bucket things up. We put things in buckets, and we say, okay, this whole bucket is a mubtada. This whole bucket is a silatul mawsul. This whole bucket. That's how we learned. But the proper way of doing things is that every single word that you look at in Arabic, it will have a grammatical label. So only huwa would be the sila. And then this fi is harf jar. And then as-sama is isim majroor. And then together make muta'alliqani bisila. You can also say that together this whole thing would be the sila. So sometimes they would say that you would see that, for example, if you read there's a grammar book, there's a tafsir, I'm forgetting. Safi, Mahmoud al-Safi or Muhammad al-Safi. I don't remember if the first name is Mahmoud or Muhammad. But if you read his tafsir, he normally would say, and the jumla لا محل لها من الإعراب جملة صلة. Or well, jumla this and this sentence, it doesn't have any grammatical label because it is this. Or something like that. Maybe one day I will show you what I mean by that. But yes, in Arabic, every single word has a label. So you look at every word separately, not the bucket system that we have in Bayina. And why am I teaching you this? Because I want to empower you to go and read tafsir on your own. So maybe after this, you'll go and read and you'll understand why they say the way they say it. Yeah. You will not see buckets in the tafsir books, like in the way we do in Bayina.
So the silatul mawsul is mahzub or whatever, not
Yes.
missing. It is missing.
Yes, it is missing. It is hidden. So the sila is hidden, but the fi as-sama is actually connected to it. Yeah. So that's what's happening there. Okay. All right. So then we have an yakhsifa. An yakhsifa. An harf masdari. We know this. It makes mansub also. So حرف مصدري وناصب ونسب. أن يخسف فعل مضارع منصوب. So let's so and together we know that an and the اسم and the مضارع منصوب will make what? Will make a مصدر مؤول. This is what we know. Right? And it's and whatever. So what would you see in the tafsir book? You would see أن وما في حيزها. And whatever it occupies and whatever else occupies with it and whatever else comes with it and whatever else is in its place. So an and everything else that it comes with is going to be something else. Is going to form a compound ism. What we learned in Bayna as a compound ism. Masdar mu'awwal. Right? So that's the concept here. Now this masdar mu'awwal, we have to ask ourselves, how is it connected to the verb أمنتم? That's the question. It's connected. Now here is where we need to revise another concept called badal. Badal, there are three kinds of badal, or at least the main ones. There's another one, but we don't normally study it. So there are three main kinds of badal. You have badal al-kull. So badal al-mutabiq also is called. Badal al-kull is when you have a total replacement. I can replace this word with the badal completely. Like if I replace this word with the badal, it will mean the same thing. For example, if I said, I met your brother, Ahmed. I can just as well say, I met your brother, or I can just as well say, I met Ahmed. You know Ahmed is your brother. So you see, that's a complete replacement. And the meaning will still be intact. That's بدل الكل. Then you have بدل البعض من الكل. بدل البعض من الكل. This is where you have proportions, you have fractions. For example, I say, I ate the cake, one piece, or I ate the cake, half of it. I ate the cake, half of it. So this half of it, it's giving me a fraction. I cannot do a total replacement. I cannot say, I ate half of it. I have to mention what I ate, the cake. So you see, it's like it's giving me extra information about what I ate, but it's not saying that I did the whole thing. I only ate a fraction of it. So whenever you have fractions, numbers, some of it, pieces of it, parts of it, this is where you have badal al-ba'd. Al-ba'd min al-kull. Okay? Then you have another type of badal called badal al-ishtimal. Now, badal al-ishtimal is where you mention a general concept. You mention a general concept about someone or something, but you want to highlight one specific thing about them or about that thing. So this is where you highlight something. You're highlighting a concept. It's no longer fractions. It's no longer numbers or parts or quantity. Now it's a concept. It's an idea. But you just want to highlight one specific thing about this person. For example, I say, أعجبني أحمد أدبه. Ahmed impressed me specifically, or in particular, I want to highlight his mannerisms, his character. His character is the one that really impressed me. Or sabruhu, his patience is the one that really impacted me or impressed me. I really liked it. Now, Ahmed could have like 100 qualities that are impressive. He could have 10 other qualities that are impressive. But to me specifically, it's that sabr that he has that really impresses me, right? So that's called badal al-ishtimal. So you're talking about there's a general concept. The general concept is that Ahmed impressed me. That's the general concept. But then I want to know more details. Exactly what about Ahmed impressed you? Then I say, oh, his mannerisms. Then you're like, I get it. Okay, so that's badal al-ishtimal. Now here, an yakhsifa is also badal al-ishtimal. I'm just going to write it fast before we proceed. Now let me explain how it's connected to the previous part. The previous statement is أأمنتم من هو في السماء أو من في السماء. Are you not afraid of the one who is in the sky? Are you feeling safe around the one in the sky? So are you feeling safe around the sky? Particularly, or rather, I want to highlight specifically in what sense are you feeling safe? So now I'm adding badal al-ishtimal. So you see, the general idea is that you're feeling safe. But exactly in what sense? How am I, feeling safe? That he will not sink the earth with you? Are you feeling safe that Allah will not sink the earth with you? Do you see the connection there? Now, maybe somebody might hear this and they must start asking, well, tamyiz also kind of does that. So what's the difference between this badal al-ishtimal and tamyiz? Because tamyiz also kind of specifies a concept. Now, the difference between the two is that tamyiz has to do with something that is ambiguous and then it becomes specific. Something that is unknown, and then it becomes known. That's the difference. So, for example, if I said, you are better, you are better, it's ambiguous. Better, but how? How am I better? You might ask. Then I tell you, oh, you're better in terms of writing. That's how you're better in terms of writing. So, this in terms of writing just took an ambiguous concept, the fact that you're better, and made it very specific. That is tamyiz. But بدل الاشتمال takes a general concept that is known. It's not ambiguous. It's known. You're safe. There is nothing ambiguous about that. Are you feeling safe? There's no ambiguous. Or if, for example, the example I gave you, Ahmed has impressed me. There's nothing ambiguous about that. Ahmed has impressed me. I am impressed. It's not ambiguous. But I just want to highlight a specific attribute about Ahmed that actually impressed me. So I want to highlight one specific thing. So with بدل الاشتمال, you are highlighting one thing. With tamyiz, you are specifying something that is ambiguous. I hope that's clear. I know I've said quite a bit. I hope we are on the same page. So أن يخسف is the بدل الاشتمال of أأمنتم من هو أأمنتم من في السماء, right? أن يخسف بكم. Now, of course, بكم is going to be متعلق to يخسف, and of course يخسف is منسوب because of أن. I hope that part is clear. So بكم, this is jar مجرور, like we normally say متعلقان بيخسف. So it goes back to يخسف, the verb. And يخسف, of course, is فعل مضارع منسوب because of أن. فعل مضارع منسوب وفاعله هو يخسف. Then we come to الأرض. الأرض is منسوب. It has a fatha on it. So I have to ask myself, what makes it منسوب? Then I realize يخسف الأرض. يخسف الأرض. He sinks what? The earth. So now we see that the earth here is actually مفعول به. What is he sinking? Allah is saying, are you feeling safe from Allah that He sinks what? The earth. So this is our مفعول به, الأرض. Then you have fa. Fa حرف عطف. There's nothing special there. Okay. So fa حرف عطف. We've come across this so many times, I'm not going to type it. But then we have إذا. إذا could be a number of things. إذا الشرطية بمعنى الاستقبال ظرفي، يعني إذا could be ظرفية بمعنى شرط, and it comes with the meaning of مستقبل. So you can say إذا الشرطية, it's fine. But in this case, this إذا is not شرطية. This is not when. We're not going to translate it as when. We're going to translate this as suddenly. So this إذا is what we call إذا الفجائية or حرف فجاءة. So إذا الفجائية, the حرف of suddenly. إذا هي تمور, then suddenly you see it shaking violently, right? So it is as if, and we shall talk about this in the explanation, يعني Allah paints a picture that seems far away. Are you feeling safe from Allah that He won't shake the earth, that He won't sink the earth with you? فإذا هي تمور, then suddenly you see it shaking. So it goes from something you dismiss, something that is far away, something that cannot happen, to something that you actually start to feel. You know, when I say suddenly you do this, it almost feels like you're feeling it. So Allah is showing the urgency of this matter. Inshallah, we'll explain this. So إذا is إذا الفجائية, and we know إذا الفجائية normally comes with a جملة اسمية. So here is going to be مبتدأ, and تمور, which is a جملة فعلية مضارع, is going to be خبر في محل رفع. So a خبر is actually a مضارع. And it's the here version because it goes back to here. We're talking about here. And what is here? Al-ard. Things that give birth, things that produce in the Arabic language are feminine in nature. So al-ard, because it produces, is feminine. And also hot things for some reason. Like the shams, things that are hot, jahannam, all these are treated as feminine. Yeah. Okay. Any questions? Are we good? Okay. I forgot to share. I'm gonna reshare again. I forgot to share the Quran bit. So let's share both of this. So let's look at the translation really quickly of this ayah. So we have Mustafa Khattab here. Do you feel secure? So amintum, man fi, that the one who is in heaven, and of course here man fi sama, we shall talk about this in the explanation. It's referring to Allah. And of course, we know that Allah is not in the skies. Allah is on his throne above the sky. But we shall discuss this terminology later. So do you feel secure that the one who is in heaven will not cause the earth to swallow you up? Yakhsifa, to sink. The earth to swing and swallow. Like it swallows you with everything. Yeah? The earth swallows, sinks, and swallows you. That's the idea. As it quakes violently. So you see as here, so he's looking at this as a hal. I wouldn't look at this sentence as a hal, honestly, because it's suddenly, like immediately, like all of a sudden type of situation. But anyway, he knows best.
Then I'm
Yeah.
not able to make out how it is suddenly, how is it fujaiyah, how it is reflecting that it's causing suddenly.
So normally idha, when it comes with the jumla ismiya, it's going to be idha al-fujaiyah. So فَإِذَا هِيَ ثُعْبَانٌ مُبِينٌ, Allah says in the Quran, in the story of Musa. When Musa threw his staff, all of a sudden he became a mighty snake, a clear snake, like it was very clear for everybody to see. It was suddenly, like just from throwing it, it didn't even take a minute. It was suddenly, it was like that. Yeah. So that's the
Yeah, but
idea. This is,
I'm so sorry, please.
yeah. Go ahead.
Then we can take it as a translation with suddenly then,
Yes.
and it suddenly quakes violently. We can use that one word
Yes.
suddenly.
Yes, and in fact, we're going to see it in some of the translations. They've actually used suddenly because it's fuja. What does fuja mean? Shock, like faj'a, like suddenly, right? So you would actually, there's no other word for it. It's just suddenly. That's the word for it. You will actually see it in some of the translations.
Okay. Sure, Jazak.
Yeah, come. So here we have T. Usmani says, have you become fearless? So again, the same meaning of Amina. Amina is not to fear something, to be around something and to be at peace and to be relaxed around something, not to have any fear around them. So you see why he uses fearless. Fearless of him who is in the sky. If, so now this is interesting. So here he's looking at it as an yakhsifa, if he makes you sink into the earth, which is an interesting way of looking at it. Personally, I would go with that or will not. And again, I think it's because he's looking at this from a hypothetical point of view. It's not going to happen, but then إِذَا هِيَ تَفُورُ, then it happens. You think it will not happen, فَإِذَا هِيَ تَفُورُ, it's tamur, sorry. And then it happens. So maybe that's why he's looking at it as if he makes you sink into the earth and it starts trembling at once. So you see now, instead of using suddenly, he says at once it starts, or immediately. This is the idea of idal fujaiya, because it has that meaning of urgency, right? So it starts trembling at once. Yeah, so that's how he's looking at it. Then we have Sahih International. Do you feel secure that he who is above, sama could mean anything above, so that's why you see he's using above as opposed to sky, would not cause the earth to swallow you and suddenly it would sway. So tamur means to shake, to move, to sway violently. Mara yamuru actually has, it means to wave, like the waves, the way they move and shake and they flow like liquid. So that's the other thing. The other meaning would be Like, and then all of a sudden the earth becomes liquid and it starts flowing like a liquid. Subhanallah. That's the imagery. We'll discuss this inshallah later. Do you feel secure that he who is over the heaven, yani Allah, will not cause the earth to sink with you? Again, the idea of khasf is to sink, and then it should quake. So this one is not treating it as fujaiyah. So this one is just treating it as normal ida. Then. Yeah, so that's an interesting take on that. You can clearly see. Are you sure that he who is in heaven will not make the earth swallow you up with a violent shudder? So again, this one is a very different take on it. I would argue, I don't know, from like basically it's more of a flow of the ayah and not very literal, I would say, right? Do you feel secure that who is in the heavens will not cause the earth to cave in with you? The idea of sinking and caving in, and then suddenly it will begin to rock violently. And let's see the layered translation of Ibn Ashur by Dr. Suhaib. So he says, do you feel safe from the one in heaven? And of course, this one in heaven, you can expand it and it will give you different meanings as to what Ibn Ashur, discussed. This one I will leave it for you guys to read on your own. You can just go and look at these different options and see what it means to have those in heavens and the one in heaven. What does it mean when you say the one? Obviously that's Allah. And when you say those in heaven, who is he talking about? So that's something you can read on your own. Read the explanation here. And then he says, causing the earth's upheaval around you, so you find it all in convulsion. So you find it. When you find something, that shows the sudden aspect of it. You suddenly find it. It wasn't like that, but you found it all of a sudden, right? So that's the idea of that ayah. Okay, I hope that was clear. Oof, time is really running out today, subhanAllah. It's because of the sarf, we took quite a bit there. Let's see if we can do ayah number 17 and then we can stop there. Because it's similar to ayah number 16, so a lot of things we might not have to repeat. Harf ataf, and here some of the grammarians have said it has the meaning of bal. So harf ataf bima'na bal. What does that mean bima'na bal? Like maybe I've mentioned this before, but bal is when you say something and you just want to move away from that concept into another concept. Like you are negating that concept completely and you're saying, no, this is not what I mean. This is actually what we're going to go with. So let me translate it for you so that you can understand. It's as if Allah is saying, are you feeling safe around Allah, around the one who is in the sky, that he will not cause the earth to sink with you, and then all of a sudden you see it violently shaking? Rather, is it the fact that you're feeling safe? So it's not that you're feeling safe from the earth, but perhaps you're feeling safe from the sky. Maybe this is what you're feeling even more safe from the sky, right? I don't know if I'm making any sense, but maybe in the explanation it will become clear. So anyway, let's not dwell so much on because it's just harf ataf in this case. And then we talked about amintum. We already explained, this is fi'al madi. And I'm just going to copy this whole thing, because it's the same thing repeating, as you can see. So amintum is fi'al madi antum. Then the man, we already talked that the man is maf'ul bihi, and of course we also said that the fi sama is muta'alliqani bi-sila. This part we've already explained. It's the same thing. Also an yursila, an yakhsifa, same thing happening. So it's just repeating the same concept. So again, I'm just gonna copy that and paste it there. And then of course we have alaykum. Ala, harf jar. The kum is the attached pronoun. So that's jar majroor. And this is going to be muta'alliqani bi yursila. Yursila alaykum. He sends to you. So this alaykum goes back to yursila. Yursila alaykum mada. So that he sends upon you what? It answers the question what. What is he going to send upon you? So hasiban. small stones or rocks or a wind. Actually, hasib is a wind that carries stones. A stone carrying wind, like a whirlwind or a tornado or something like that. So this is called a hasib. So this is a maf'ul bihi actually. Okay? So that was just repeating itself. Clear so far? Okay. Oh, there's some comments here in the chat that I must have missed. Of the bucket, I thought after main money, whatever comes after it will be sila. Oh, how do I know to get to know now something is missing or now it's present? Sorry, yeah. I'm sorry that I moved on. I had not seen your comment there. So there are two ways. So this is what I normally tell people. If you're studying with Baina, there's the Baina curriculum. And if you're studying with any other institution, you will notice they teach Arabic in a very different way. Why is this the case? Because Ustad, may Allah bless him so much, he tried to simplify Arabic and remove all the complications of it, surrounding it, so that people like you and me can easily understand Arabic. But of course, that comes with its challenges, because once you strip off Arabic so much, then there are certain things that you might struggle with. But the idea, I think, behind Bayina, and I could be wrong, but this is my understanding of it, is that Ustad wanted us to, first of all, just have a basic understanding of the Arabic language. Because once you understand the basics, then you can start building on it. So Bayina is like the foundation, a very strong foundation that you're going to build. And then after that, you start putting on top other things. After you build the structure, you put the foundation, you put the walls, you put the roof. These are the main parts of a building. But now things like paint, tiles, wallpaper, decorations, and all this, these are like additions. So these are things you will learn later on. But once you have that building in place, then no matter what, you can still understand Arabic. Now this bucket system, minus the bucket system, is one of those wallpapers, one of those decorations things. It's not really a must that you know it, but if you want to advance yourself and maybe be able to read tafsir books and read proper way of doing i'rab, the classical way of doing the i'rab, the traditional way of doing i'rab, then it's important to understand that in Arabic, every single word, like you can see, I separated fa here. This fa has a way it is going to be labeled, is going to be named. Every single word. N has a way to be labeled. Yursila, alaykum, both of them, that's why we say muta'alliqani. So ala is separate, kum is separate, and each one has a label. Each one. So every single word in Arabic, we give a label, not buckets. In Bayina, we would look at sila, we would look at ism mawsul and its sila, and we would put it in one bucket, all of it. But in the traditional way, we would say, okay, this is isim mawsul, separate. The silatul mawsul, separate. Anything connected to the silatul mawsul, separate. So everything is treated separately, word by word by word. That's the traditional way of doing things. And of course, Baina really simplified for us, because now sometimes you look at an entire sentence and say, oh, this whole sentence, mubtada, khalas, and makes our lives easier. But if you go to the classical sense of doing things, you would realize that that's not the case. I hope that makes it a bit clearer. Anyway, so you have this fa. This fa is one of those fas. Yeah, this fa is one of those fas that will give you a headache, because this fa is called fa al-fasiha. And I have mentioned this before, this type of fa. And I will explain it again and again and until we get it, inshallah. Fa fasiha is the kind of fa that comes to tell you that there's a jumla shartiya that has been said, that has been omitted in the sentence. So there was a sentence here before this fa that has been omitted. So this fa comes to tell you that I am the jawab of that shart that is mahduf. فَسَتَعْلَمُونَ كَيْفَ نَذِيرٌ. In other words, if my punishment comes, you will know. If my punishment comes. Where am I getting this if my punishment comes? It's omitted. But it is understood. يعني فستعلمون كيف نذيري, and of course this word punishment is what informs the sentence that is omitted. You will know how terrible my punishment. You will know how terrible my warning. Right? That's the idea. So when will I know this punishment? When the punishment comes. When will I know? When the punishment comes. So this when the punishment comes here is missing. If the punishment comes is missing. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I don't know if I'm making any sense, because this fa
Can you
is one
repeat
of
it
those.
again, please?
Okay.
Please.
Yeah, I know it's not an easy concept to understand. So this is what I want to, the sentence is, let me write, I think I should type it down so that we can understand. So the sentence is, you will soon know, or you will come to realize how terrible I'm going to use the word punishment here. You'll soon know how terrible my punishment is or was. Full stop. Now the question is, when will I know this? Or يعني, when will I know this? Yeah, so that's the question, when. In other words, when the punishment comes, comma, you will soon know how terrible it is. So that would be the way to say it. I can omit this, my punishment, and just say it is. When the punishment comes, you will soon know how terrible it is. But this part, when the punishment comes, this shart, this condition part, when, then you will know. So when this happens, you will know this, right? So this part has been omitted. And then we have the fa which tells me that something has been omitted. So that's kind of like what is happening in this sentence. Did I make sense there? Was that a bit clearer?
Yes, sister, that's beautiful.
Okay. So that's fa fasiha. It normally comes because a jumla shartiya is hidden, is missing. And how will I know that what kind of jumla shartiya is? From the sentence itself. So you see, I was talking about punishment. When will the punishment be? Because the sentence is telling me what has been omitted. So because the Quran is very eloquent, there's no repetition, there's no excess, there's no extra, there's nothing that needs to be said that is unnecessary. So you can see just from this, Allah has omitted something and yet it is still captured. Right? Isn't that beautiful? And space has been saved, but so much has been said. That's the idea. Then we have sa harf istiqbal. This means that it's, soon something will happen. It's just called, it's a harf. We don't need to dwell so much on this. So sa and sawfa, both of them means like something will happen soon, right? ستعلمون, you will soon know. And تعلمون is أنتم تعلمون, so فعل مضارع. And the فاعل is أنتم, of course. أنتم تعلمون. كيف نذير. Now, as we wind up with this last one, again, I'm gonna need your brain juices. This section has a lot of grammar. Anyway, so كيف, we know كيف. This is yes, istifham. Ism istifham. Okay, just a question word. Like we did in the beginning, we did harf istifham. Hamza is a harf, but كيف is an ism, right? So كيف is ism istifham. Okay, we understand that. But how do I understand this كيف in this sentence? Now, in Arabic, question words always come in the beginning of a sentence. Always. You would never hear like the question word come at the end of a sentence. No, always the question word will take precedence, come at the beginning of a sentence. That's a rule. Unless maybe if it is preceded by a harf jar. For example, if I say, become هذا, how much is this? So B, kam. Kam, how much? B, harf jar. So only harf jar can sort of make its way, but anything else cannot. Right? So when you have a question, always start with the اسم استفهام or the حرف استفهام. متى تذهب؟ أين تذهب؟ كيف الجو? All these questions at the beginning. How's the weather? كيف الجو? Okay. So that's one thing you need to understand. Now, because that's the case, so sometimes this كيف can come in the beginning and replace the مبتدأ. So it pushes the mubtada away, because now kaifa has to be at the beginning. And we know mubtada is usually at the beginning, right? But because kaifa is a question one and it has to be at the beginning, it pushes the mubtada away. So now in such a case where you have a jumla ismiya, this kaifa becomes the khabar muqaddam, sorry. It becomes the khabar muqaddam. Okay? Just like in English also, a similar thing happens. You know, in English, I say, how are you? How comes in the beginning. I don't say, you are how. And if you've had people that speak like this, they don't know English very well. But the idea is actually they are correct. You are how. That is the understanding of it. Even in Arabic, you are how is the correct way of understanding it. It's not the correct way of saying it, but it's the correct way of understanding it. In other words, nadiri كيف? My punishment how? My warning how? That's the literal way of saying it. But of course, that's like, it sounds weird. You can't say it like that. So you say كيف nadiri. And now you see in that sense, then nadiri becomes مبتدأ مؤخر مقدم مؤخر sorry مبتدأ مؤخر.
Pardon, Ilham, what becomes مبتدا مؤخر?
nadiri.
No, okay.
Yeah, I think I should space this so that you can clearly see there. So nadiri. Nadiri is actually two words. It's like if I say kitabi, my book, qalami, my pen, nadiri, my warning. So it's supposed to be, there is a ya here. Sorry. There is a ya here that is been omitted in the writing, just for takhfif. This happens a lot in the Quran. Like for example, instead of saying Rabbi, yeah, we normally say Rabbi. Rabbi. In the Quran happens a lot. برب الفلق. No, that's not. It's in Surah Al-Fatiha. Why am I? Anyway, so you understand what I'm saying. Normally in du'as and in the Quran, you would see that this ya is omitted. And how would you know? Because you will see a kasra under it. So whenever you have, like, you instead of saying kitabi at the end of a sentence, you can say kitabi. qalami. Instead of qalami, qalami. Just with one kasra like that. So that's what's happening with that. So it's actually supposed to be the opposite. This is supposed to come here and this is supposed to come there. So nadiri kaif, that's the normal order. But of course, because I have told you istifham always comes at the beginning of a sentence, this is why istifham came and pushed the mubtada away, even though this istifham is actually the khabar. So the khabar came before and the mubtada came after. That's what's happening. Clear?
Sister Ilham, that means when the question word comes, it's always it's a khabar muqaddam, and the ism which comes after it is a mubtada.
In a jumla ismiya, yes. If
In
it's a
jumla
jumla ismiya, yes. So you can see this is mubtada, this is khabar, this is mubtada. It's a jumla ismiya. If it comes in a jumla fi'aliya, it's going to be hal most of the time.
Ah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not just kaifa, but all the in jumla in jumla fi'liya, if other kind of question word comes, even though it will be hard.
No. No. Only kaifa, because kaifa is how.
How?
Kaifa asks the question how. Mata asks when. Ma asks what. So ma,
So it becomes a maf'ul that one, yeah. It becomes a
yes. So it depends with the meaning. If the meaning
Yeah.
is what, then it becomes maf'ul bihi. If the meaning is something else, it becomes something else. Like here, the
Correct.
meaning is how, so this is hal. Yeah. That's how you deal with questions.
Yes.
Questions, they're a bit lot sometimes to understand them. Yeah, it's mind-boggling. I agree. There's a lot of grammar here. Anyway, we can just quickly look at the translation of ayah number 16, and then we can stop there. 17, sorry. So again, the same structure. Or is it that you feel, or do you feel secure that the one who is in the heavens, we've talked about this part so far, will not unleash upon you a storm of stones? So the first one was the earth shaking, where you step on. Maybe you feel secure that your ground is safe. Or is it the fact that you feel safe that no stones will rain upon you? Is that what you're feeling safe from? This is what Allah is asking. Only then, now you see, only then, when the punishment comes, only then you will know how serious my warning was. Right? Only after the punishment has come, that's when you will realize. But before that, you're just walking on the earth feeling secure. You're looking up at the sky, you're like, oh, what a beautiful blue sky. You're not feeling threatened at all. You're feeling very safe. That's the idea that is being presented. But when the punishment comes, that's when you will realize. Or you have become fearless. Again, we talked about this meaning of fear. Amina, to not have fear, to be fearless. If he loses a if he loses, less lose. Okay, I don't know. Loses a violent wind. I think maybe to let free, or that's what the meaning here. If he unleashes, maybe that's what he's trying to say with this word lose. To let loose. So if he loses, he lets loose a violent wind with stones against you. So you will come to know how was my warning. Again, Nadiri, we're looking at here as my warning. But also Nadir could mean warner. And we shall talk about that later. But in this context, it has to do with punishment. It's the warning, which was the punishment. Or do you feel secure that he who is above will not send against you a storm of stones? So we talked about hasiban. Hasib is a storm of stones, a stone carrying storm, right? Or wind, rather. Okay. So most of them are pretty much the same. Who is over the heaven will not send against you a violent whirlwind. So you see, the same kind of like wind that carries a storm, stones. So either a whirlwind or a tornado or something similar. Yeah. Then you shall know. When? Then at that point you shall know how terrible my warning has been, or has been my warning. Are you sure that he who is in the heaven will not send a whirlwind to pelt you with stones? You will come to know what my warning means. Yeah. I think then I like this idea of then, because to me it shows that there's something missing. When? Then at that point you will come to know what my warning means. So probably maybe here, I don't know if Professor Abdul Halim is translating the fa fasiha, or is just translating as fa harf ataf, probably just looking at it as harf ataf, or just a new sentence, fa isti'nafiya, probably in that case. Do you feel secure that who is in the heavens will not let loose upon you a storm of stones? Same thing. Then you shall know, again, same fa fasiha. And then these two are mostly like very old English that I know I don't find it easy to read, so we can skip those ones. Or perhaps you feel safe. So again, or perhaps you feel safe from the one who is in heaven, unleashing a torrent of stones upon you. Okay. Then, so you see this then, I really like this then, because it captures the meaning of fasiha really well, because it tells you, like, then, when the punishment comes, oh, then I see, okay. Then you will know the reality of my warning. then you know the reality. Interesting. I will dig deep on this because I find this interesting. It's different from anything else that has been said. All right. I think we can safely stop there. I'm sorry I went longer than I should have, but I am glad that we managed to at least finish what I intended to do today. So inshallah, next time we shall look at the Nahw and Sarf as we move on. Inshallah. Any questions or anything else before we close?
Senha,
Mhm.
uh, uh, it's okay if I can ask you something. If you
Yes,
can
please.
go to
Absolutely. No.
Senha, I was going through this Bayana textbook and some snippets from here and there, what students and you people have worked out on it. But I'm unable to grab the point. Where can I start apart from Bayana textbook? See, you have all this, mashallah, information and knowledge and all. I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty sure.
You still there?
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that you might have followed a particular book or something, which says all these important, concepts and all. So I'm unable to, I find sometimes this from your section. Sometimes I grab some notes from somebody else and somebody else. So is there not something there which we can follow a particular book where you, all this been delivered, all the concepts have been delivered in a
Yeah.
particular book?
Honestly, my path, I'm still like chattering, or like I'm still trying to figure out my own path because I really don't want people to follow my path because my path is very chaotic and it might not be beneficial for a lot of people. Because to be honest, I was very um disturbed when Ustad like stopped teaching us very suddenly. It was Idal Fujaiya and Ustad just stepped away. I was like, okay, what now? Like what are we supposed to do? Where do we go from here? And it was very chaotic for me, but it sort of motivated me to want to know more on my own. And what I ended up doing is I ended up just Googling and researching on my own. And I would read a tafsir, for example, and I'll come across a word that I've never had before. Like, for example, let's say Ida al-Fujaiya. I'm reading and then the tafsir says this Ida is al-Fujaiya. I'd be like, what is Ida al-Fujaiya? Then I go to Google and I Google, what is Ida al-Fujaiya? And then it gives me a number of things. Of course, I have to like be careful which sites I visit. So then I read a bunch of sites. I just go from A to B to C, and then I go to YouTube, and also I check a couple of channels. There are a number of channels that I really follow. I think Qalam Institute also has a very like well organized content in terms of grammar and everything else. And sometimes they follow a particular book. So if you're looking for that kind of order where they go through a book, so you can just do that with Qalam. But for me, I found that like because already I know most of these things. It's just one, two, three, four concepts that I don't know. So I don't want to watch an entire playlist of Qalam where 90% of the things I learned in Baina, only 10% I don't know. So I found that not to be the best for me. So I found that the best, it's not really the best, but for me at that time, is to just find a new concept that I want to research and go research about it and learn from it. But the downside of that is that I don't know if this is way advanced or if this is something basic that I should know. So sometimes I would end up learning PhD stuff and I'm not even like I'm just a beginner student, you know. So that has been the challenge because even when I was in Aramar, like I was put in a class, but I was like I was above that class. So sometimes I would tell my teacher something that they don't even know because I went and researched and I read some PhD material on Arabic grammar that even my teacher doesn't know. But then there's some basic thing that I'm supposed to know that I don't know. So that's the challenge that I'm still facing because I don't know what's what. I don't know what is advanced, what is basic that I must know, what is fundamental. And I think I emailed Baina and I told them that you need to like give us a program like this. You need to tell us what next. Okay, so we've done 2 years of Baina. Then what? We need a program like that. But I don't know if they would come up with something like I hope they do. But I also
Then
think that
what
Ustad
happens
is
is
still
like,
figuring it out.
I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. What happens is like when you Barakallah, you are managing your business and everything. But sometimes what happens is around is like managing home, work, and then putting up a time for it to research and all. It you end up at like I can't. Let me go back to the classes and that's enough. So
Yeah,
when we have a hard copy in front of you or soft copy in front of you, then you know that you're going to follow it. It's something you have, and when you forget something and you go back to it, you research it, and means you go back, you just give a glance to it, and something again comes back, just like Bayina textbook, right? You forget the concept and you just go around and you just check it out and you'll get it. But
right.
what happens here
Yes.
is like I'm so I don't know where I don't remember where I kept something. Something I kept in Google Drive, something is in OneDrive, something is in my documents, something is, and it becomes so hectic to manage it out. And I just end up in doing no, not now, because it's time for my work, it's time for my home, it's time for my kids and all, and it's done. So I don't give the time
Uh,
because I feel good when I see Archie, Safauzia and all, and I feel myself key. I should be giving this time, but I'm not giving up to this.
Right.
Sister, may I say something? I mean, recording is on, so can I say while recording is on? Or
Do you want me to stop the recording? I can stop the recording, no problem.
Oh, is it?
no,
It's on?
literally.
Yeah, I can stop it. Let me stop it. No problem. And if anybody wants to leave, feel free again. So just one other thing that I wanted to point out is that's why I'm doing this, my notes. And my notes, I have tried to make them online. All these notes. So you can see how I've categorized my notes. I can take them through the categories. So I have Arabic revision. So everything to do with Arabic. Everything that we have learned in Baina. So if I go to Arabic revision, you see I have Nahw. This is where we began. Like I didn't do much on Nahw because this was like I didn't do that much of that. Okay. I mean, there are other pages on the right here, so you can see like basic stuff that I didn't focus so much on because this was like the beginning of stuff. And then you have Sarf. So you have all my notes on Sarf all here. So anything you want to know about Sarf, you can just go to this folder, Sarf, and everything will be there. Then you have advanced Nahw, and then you come to this side. You can see all the different topics, compound ism, ism mawsul, jumla shartiya, hal, tamyiz, everything on advanced Sarf, according to the Baina breakdown of categorization of things. Advanced structures, same thing. And I'm still adding my own notes. So you can see I'm doing notes on masadir, I'm doing notes on isim makan and isim zaman, what we learned in Baina as darf, what darfu minhu, that thing we learned. I told you before that it's not actually called darf. Darf is words like ba'd, qabl, and words like that. But isim makan, now this would be like masjid, maf'ilun wa maf'alun, that pattern. So I'm doing my own research on some of these things. I'm not yet done. Like yeah, I don't have the time to do that. But all this stuff, all the notes on reader are there. Reading advanced text, this is what we are doing right now in Ta'birul Qur'ani. So I have the notes there. EMSA, I haven't done much on EMSA, to be honest. I really don't like the book. And I might not do anything there as well either. So yeah. And I'm also studying Balagha, or I was trying to study Balagha. So I have some notes on Balagha as well. So I have notes. And then I have huruf and adawat. Now we haven't done this in Bayna at all. So you have, and again, this is still a work in progress. So you have huruf ataf. I did a class on this. You have the types of lam. I haven't done a class on this, but you have the different kinds of lam, the different kinds of min, the different kinds of la, all this. Still a work in progress. I'm not done. So some of it is still missing. But why am I showing you all this? And this is just the Arabic revision. Then you have my surah analysis class. So you have Surah Al-Mulk, the one we're doing right now. And inshallah, after that, we'll do Qalam, and we just continue from there. I want to do the last two juz of of the Quran. So from Surah Al-Mulk all the way to Nas. Then once I'm done that, I can think about something else to do. So you have all these notes that are kind of organized in one place, just one link, one notebook that has so many subdivision and so many different places. This is my own personal thing that is the short translation, and I'm also working on something interesting, just looking at the different surah structures. This will come later. But why am I telling you all this stuff? Is because I'm trying to compile one place where you can get almost anything that you want. So I just come here and what am I looking for? I'm looking for a harf. Okay, so I go to huruf and adawat. And what harf am I looking for? I'm looking for, you know, I don't know, law. Okay. Do I have notes on law? I don't have notes on law yet. So maybe I'm looking for la and nafiya. Okay, I want to know about la and nafiya. So it's going to tell me the different kinds of la and nafiya in this one place. Let's say what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a topic in advanced Nahw. Let's say tamiz. I want to understand tamiz. So I just come here on the notes of tamiz and you'll find my notes there. And again, my notes are not very detailed. You'll find like one or maybe 3 or 4 sentences that will just give you what you need to know. That's what I'm trying to do, especially for people like you who are so busy and for myself. And that's why, when I'm teaching, sometimes I'm like, I don't remember this concept. And you see me going somewhere and I find the notes easily. This is what I'm trying to do. And these notes, I have made them online. I have put them online. You just have to download the OneNote app. And if you're using your phone, you download the OneNote app, and that's it. And you can easily access these notes. And in any part of this of anything that I'm doing, you'll be able to see it here. So I hope that will be of benefit for you and for anyone who is interested.
So Zainab, it's
We need to
beautiful.
have a formal classroom type, like from post-intermediate level,
Yeah.
like a complete syllabus, which I had written to Bayana also.
Yeah, I told them that.
Yeah. And I recommended that the sister Ilham should be teaching us that
Oh,
course.
wow. Yeah, I told them that. And that's why when I
Inshallah.
finished teaching the reader, I didn't go directly to advanced text because I feel like it was a big jump. So we did reading with Tashkil, we did the story bit of it.
Yes,
So
yes,
that,
I was the
yeah.
part of it, and I'm fortunate enough to be the part of that.
I know, I was very glad that you were there. You made a big part of that, alhamdulillah. So I hope, Sister Fahima, this would be of benefit to you. Try it
May
out.
Allah puts lots of barakah in this beautiful, mesmerizing. So I'm stunned at how much of work you have done, mashallah. It's all together. It's a book compiled of. May Allah puts lot of barakah in this. Allahumma
Ameen, ya
barik.
Rab.
Yes, it needs to become a textbook, and
Yes,
it needs to be
yes,
taught in any, but not necessarily Bayana, but because I'm a Bayana student and attached it, but any university level, like in any of these great Massachusetts or whatever these great institutes are, it needs to be taught over there.
yes, Sister
Yeah,
Ilham, why don't you just work on it? Like we can if you want, you can make a book of it, and it's really going to be. It's like a huge sadaqah jariyah for the students like us, who is looking out for something more apart from the basic one.
yeah, maybe at
And
some
attached to the
point.
book, yeah,
Yeah,
attached
because
to
I'm
the book,
still
these
working on it.
lectures. Yeah,
Inshallah, inshallah.
attached to each note would be your lecture that you're giving on this note.
Yeah,
And you are taking the classes, live classes. So the live classes can have like the notes attached as a PDF or something like that. Something
yeah.
similar to what Sister Nuradillah was doing in classical Arab. She
Yeah, I also like her
attaches.
classes. True.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I want to keep it online because I can keep on working on it well at the same time people can access it. So every time I add new notes, people can still access it. So that's why I
Yes, yes,
really prefer this
yes.
online version of it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, I
After
will share
every
the
video,
link.
you can attach the relevant PDF, I mean, as a link.
Hmm.
No, because the
Yes.
way she explained it, everything is clear. Because whatever you want to go
Yeah.
into it, you can get it on the sideways, the notes which are already there, the index. You can
And
say
it's
it's open.
and it's very boring to do it on our own and not consistent. We don't have anyone to, like, it's not. We don't have
I
a
would,
teacher. And we are
That's
students.
true.
We need a teacher.
and I would really request you to post the link of this one in the book group 1 second, Sister Ilham, so that we all can make use of it, inshallah.
Yes, I will. And I will also, I think I already put it in my YouTube channel, but I will also put it, I will share the link in the groups,
Subhanallah,
inshallah. Yeah.
inshallah, Jazakallah khair. And one more
Iyakum.
doubt I have.
Yes.
We say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu is the mubtada. Assalamu alaikum. It's
Mhm.
mutaliq to assalam, right?
Mm-hmm.
Assalamu alaikum. We're saying kum means you all.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm addressing only you, why we are using kum, Sister Lam?
Because we Muslims, we don't just, we are a united people. Even in Salah, in Surah Al-Fatiha, we don't say إياك أعبد وإياك أستعين. We say إياك
Yeah.
نعبد, but you're standing there alone. Especially as women, we normally pray most of the time we're alone. We're not praying in Jama'ah or anything like that. But it's like a reminder that we're not just one person, we're one body, we're one ummah. And then of course we assume that it's not just you alone. Maybe there are angels around you, or like we're bringing barakah, and it's not just you probably and your family. And it's a way of speaking. I think also in sometimes you just speak like this, how are you? And when I ask you, I'm not just talking about you, I'm meaning like you and your family. Like, how are you and your family? Peace be upon you and your family. So it's more inclusive. It shows like I am not just thinking about you as an individual. I'm thinking you and your family and everyone around you. And also I'm thinking about us as one big ummah. So it's more inclusive. And you
Oh,
can't say
then why do
assalamu
we?
alaikum. You can.
Yeah, that's. But I heard from someone recently, from the people who are known about the Arabic. You should say Jazakillah, because if you're addressing a girl, and you can say, if you're addressing the women, Jazakunna, which we have ka kuma kum ki kuma kunna, Jazakunna. Then why is it like that? We can say Jazakumullah khairan, right?
Yes, even if you're addressing one woman, you can say Jazakumullah khair. Just one woman,
Okay.
you're supposed to say Jazakillah. Or even if you're addressing women, you can say Jazakum. Because the masculine pronoun in the Arabic language is more
Inclusive,
inclusive. It
more
includes
inclusive.
women
Yeah.
as well. We know this.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why.
Jazakumullah khairan.
Yeah, cool. Any other questions?
No, that's it. That's it from my side.
All right. Okay, I think we can end there. Thank you guys for a lovely, wonderful session. Inshallah, I will see you guys next week for the explanation session. Right,
Inshallah.
سبحانك اللهم بحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة